be too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and
Evil Dead Inkson. I'm going to use my tongue in ways the Lord never intended.
to dodge the draft.
Yes, we're talking TCM the beginning, because there's nowhere else to go after 03. Where you go? We got a one-armed Leatherface. Ermey is literally a greasy spot in the road.
Yep, we gotta go back in time.
Like, Marty, we gotta go back and see how this begins.
Yeah, we gotta go back in time, but not back in time to the original timeline. This is a different timeline. It's got a different beginning. Holy crap, this, like we said a million times in these podcasts, this franchise is all over the fucking place, folks. And I saw this one in theaters, so yeah, I've got some fond memories. I enjoy this movie, but yeah, Evil, if you want to give a brief plot synopsis. I know you already said we're going back in time, but yeah, hit them with it and we'll get started.
It's a prequel. Nobody survives. That's it. I mean, there's not much. What can you say? There's no way it's going to end well. It's going to do exactly. If you've never seen the movie, it's going to do exactly what you think it's going to do. Some kids are going to get involved. We're going to see Leatherface born, make his first mask, how the sheriff becomes the sheriff, how they decide to eat people. Credits.
Yeah, pretty much. And I know 2 weeks ago we talked about this, Evil, and you had only seen this a few times, so it wasn't fresh in your mind. And I told you,
I think 3 probably total times. I didn't even own this DVD. The DVD was in the wife's collection. So I was telling Raj off air, like, the wife's been like, we gotta rewatch this one for your thing. I was like, yeah, but you volunteered for this, one, so no complaining, and 2, this is technically your DVD that has the slipcover unrated platinum edition still on it, so no complaints, because this is technically your movie. If we split up, you're taking this one with you, not me.
You married into it? Well, if that's the way you want to put it.
Yeah, I married into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. I had not seen it at all, until we got together, and when we first did get together, we didn't have internet, cable, nothing. So it was just what I had and what she had on DVDs and Blu-rays to watch. So eventually you get tired of the same 30 or 40 movies you have. And like, all right, what else you got in your collection? Yeah, I've never seen that. Let's throw that thing on, see what it's like.
You know, as primitive as that sounds to some of our listeners, I kind of miss those simpler times, you know? I remember there was a really rough patch in my life when I didn't necessarily have the money to have cable or any of that stuff. So, and this is pre-streaming, so it was just whatever movies you had, or you could venture out and rent a flick. And times were a lot simpler back then, and it just
we were easier.
Feel a little bit more grounded, you know.
We were easier to entertain. Now everything's. Make it snappy. Come on. Quick, fast, in a hurry. It's went from like, well, I'll rent this. It's 3 hours. I'm still going to watch it, and then I'll return it within 7 days. To now, it's like, you got a minute and a half. Hit me with your best shot, or I'm moving on.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but back then, movies were events. You know, you were even saying, like, I haven't seen this. Let's throw it on. So when you do that, it's the kind of time, like, you dim the lights. You get some popcorn or a snack or whatever. You got your beverage. You're chilling. And that movie has your undivided attention unless it's fool around time. You know, if it's like you're hooking up with someone or whatever. But like
your ulterior motives for putting it on.
Yeah. Pre-Netflix and chill was, let's go rent a movie and finger bang or whatever, But like,
what insane human being is like, I'm gonna use TCM as my go-to flicks.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it, baby. But so after rewatching this, Evil, initial thoughts? Do you like this one? Just straight out the gate, were you entertained?
Are you not entertained? I don't know, because I got done and I was like, I mean, it was made well. It felt very gross in the ways they're intending, very sticky, very slimy, but I was like, it wasn't a great fun time. It's not, I don't think, Arlie Ermey's best improvised work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew how things were going to go from Jump Street. I was like, well, it's a prequel, so like nothing is going to be groundbreaking here as far as anything going to be evil vanquished kind of a deal. Like, we're just going to get an origin story, so everything has to go this route at some point. And I don't know. It was kind of that, like, what'd you think? I was like, it's all right. Like, do you want to own it or rent it or watch it again? I'm like, probably not for a while.
Yeah.
Like, in 15 years, it's been 3 times, and the third time was for doing this. Yeah.
I'll say this. Upon my rewatch, which I told you off air, as soon as we got done covering the TCM 03 remake, like as soon as I got off of my computer, I threw on the beginning. I'm like, I remember really liking this. And I do like it. But when I was rewatching it, all of this, like, I don't know, like the era that it came out really started to like soak in.
Oh.
And I went, so TCM 03, this is just Platinum Dunes trying to do a remake and get these, you know, established properties off the ground. And this movie, to me, is not influenced by like existing IP. This movie is only exists because of the torture porn era. This movie feels like it was like it saw what Eli Roth did with Hostel, and you know what Tarantino was doing with Crazier stuff, and just all this weird hyper violent horror that was happening, and was like, it is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let's fucking peel the face off, let's skin some arms, it got like really almost gross for no reason in some certain spots, and I'm here for it. I like that, but
that cool effects.
You know, I notice it. Yeah, I notice it.
I thought you were going with just some of the casting and clothing options, like
super pretty, clean people again.
I was gonna say Jordana Brewster, and like every shot, it's like she's almost spilling out the back of her pants. Like it is almost butt cheeks every scene.
Yeah, those butt dimples we talked about 2 weeks ago.
This is not butt dimples. This is like there's cracks, and it's any second now. There it is, and
womp, womp.
And we get the closest we've come to next gen with almost nudity. We got Diora Baird in her undies, which is always a good thing. So I like say one good thing about the TCM beginning, like Diora Baird's in it, and that'll be how I reference it. The wife, oddly enough, she refers to it, the Jordana Brewster one. I was like, what else did she do? No, she's the dark hair. From the Fast and the Furious, which I swear that one biker dude is he's either in that series or he kind of looks like the camera operator from Wayne's World.
He is. I
was like, damn.
You know who he is? He's and he'll forever be. He's Chet from the Weird Science TV show.
Oh gosh,
that's who he is to me. No matter what I see him in, I'm like Chet from Weird Science TV. Like not good enough to be Bill Paxton, but still Chet.
Because when I first saw him, I was like, does that dude follow Jordana Brewster from Fast and the Furious? I'm like, no, that's the fucking camera guy. It looks like at least he looks like the camera guy from Wayne's World that goes 3, 2, the big ass sideburns and tie dye. Wow, he's not aged a day in
I know
well over a decade. Like he looks pretty much the same, except he's tough now.
Yeah. And it must be a clean lifestyle where he's able to grow some stubble and look like he has a rough lifestyle.
Yeah, he's the most baby-faced biker out there.
Yeah, it should have been Edward Furlong, like now Edward Furlong.
Oh God, probably.
They got my friend.
Probably
doing his best Oswald Cobblepot.
So between Diora Baird, Jordana Brewster's pants, and lead dude's like facial hair, I feel like that's very much of the time too. That like Don Johnson 3-day, not beard, but mustache and goatee.
Yeah, and then you let the 5 hour, like whatever that is, the 5 o'clock shadow
Yeah.
fucking stubble get just a little bit long
Yeah,
where
like,
it's almost.
just like a day or so's growth. And I was like, none of this feels like, dude in the last movie felt like he could have been in the 70s. And this is before that.
Yeah, and this, so the previous film takes place in 78, I think we established. And
78, 74, and this is 68 or 64.
And that's the biggest deterrent in this movie. You look at it and you can just call bullshit because of how everyone looks. I mean, sure, they do that oversaturated. They bring the film grain. They pump up the blacks again. They do all the same tricks they did in the first movie, but
It don't feel it. It don't feel as hot either. It does not feel oppressively hot like
And
the original
also,
did.
I used to like this, so this is a part of me changing. Lou Temple as the original sheriff, playing pretty much Lou Temple,
Oh.
doing everything Lou Temple always does.
Laying out his groundwork for, if you kill me, no one will know.
Yeah. Fucking bring a horse to organism? Like, just that stupid fucking bullshit dialogue.
There's a lot of hot minutes. I was like, am I in a parallel universe where Rob Zombie did this movie too?
I'm telling you.
Because we have
influenced
another.
by the torture porn?
I was like, we have some of that weird dialogue. We have a lot of like gross out shit. Some stuff that just makes no sense. And on top of that, we got a cow explosion from a car driving through it. I'm like, are you sure Rob Zombie didn't do this movie?
Cow.
And we have, and Thomas Hewitt, a.k.a. Leatherface, is...
With his COVID mask on for half the movie.
Which, I mean, there's the biggest thing. Like, he doesn't come off to me as a Leatherface. He comes off as, like, WWE's Kane.
Oh, 100%. Again, we had See No Evil. Was See No Evil around this time? Or 2005?
It's around this time, but I mean, Kane is Kane, and he's been Kane since 97, so it's like, it looks exactly like he's just trying to do a Kane. He doesn't look what we would think the character is supposed to kind of be. He does make an attempt way late in the film to kind of have that subservient thing and that, shy thing to Arlie Ermey, but I was like, it feels too little too late. By then it's like, you've been just a hulking Kane figure for the whole movie.
Yeah, and then also the ending shot, which every time
looks
my
cool.
My eyes roll like a fucking slot machine, though. Like, he's been so fast and so violent this whole movie, and then all of a sudden he's like Snuffleupagus fucking walking home. I go home now. Like,
that's the only thing I think he does that I like. I like the slow walk with the chainsaw. I think that shot looks cool. I think when they first pull him over, when the cop car pulls over from him walking home, that looks cool. But that, I thought you were going with there's two moments in this movie that totally made me go, what the fuck?
Which two? I'm all ears.
Okay, the first one is we have Leatherface's mama giving birth in the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
To which the baby is thrown out, so Leatherface is the first dumpster baby.
Prom night dumpster baby. Oh.
To which he becomes an employee down the road at this same meatpacking plant because he's found in the dumpster by the future Hewitt family.
He got like maggots and stuff on him. He looks like the baby from Dead Alive.
So it takes, we'll say roughly, we'll even go 20 years for this meatpacking plant to be condemned by the the health board. And I'm like,
OSHA.
Well, no shit, you had a childbirth on the floor and a woman died and you threw a baby in a dumpster. Like, how'd this take?
I need to go to the bathroom, boss.
How'd this take 2 fucking decades to shut this place down? The 60s.
No, that's bullshit. Yeah, you know how it is.
And the second, what the fuck I had of this movie is, so this big son of a bitch was able to lay down in the back of that tiny ass car with a chainsaw and was undetected by Jordana Brewster when she gets in it, and then slams the chainsaw through the back seat, chainsaws her, which you had to know was happening. Like, well, no one's getting away, even it looks like she's getting away.
Yeah.
And then she just happens to veer off the road and smash into a traffic stop by some random cop, which where the fuck's this guy been? Because it's clearly the same town where Lou Temple was sheriffing, and it's been at least a couple of days since he was murdered and his job was taken over randomly by Arlie Ermey. Where was this guy the whole movie? Why is he pulling someone over just now? And is he not? And I was like, that was kind of odd. I've not heard from anyone else in the whole sheriff's department. Is it just him and Lou Temple?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But that's
two things.
That's us.
Two big things
back.
that got me. Yeah, rewatching it.
10 years later. No, I straight up though. When I saw it in theaters, that whole birth on the plant floor that's a terrible origin, but it is what it is. My biggest gripe still, which I talked about 2 weeks ago, is this movie is before the TCM 03, but this slaughterhouse is somehow shittier in the 60s, and then it gets closed. But then by the time we get to the 03 movie, everything's chrome. Everything's nice.
Well, yeah,
like, what's going on here?
There's nothing here that seems very surprising in a good way. It's like if you had asked anyone who's casually watched any of these movies, write me an origin story for this. So like, well, he's probably born in a slaughterhouse and worked in the slaughterhouse.
Born a big dummy.
And they shut it down, and he just started. What do you do then when you ain't got no meat? You just start eating people.
Yeah, and also, I know this is a prequel, so you got to answer some questions. The whole fella who loses his legs.
Who was asking that question? Who was like, well, how'd he lose his legs?
Well, let me tell you. He got winged by a bullet, and then Leatherface chopped him off. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he gets shot in the leg by a biker dude. Leatherface performs surgery at the behest of Arlie Ermey, and he gets ridiculed for not doing it clean enough. So he's like, well, even him up. So cut the other leg off, too.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense. No fucking sense whatsoever.
No, but who is that one guy in the writing room being like, are we ever going to explain how this double amputee became a double amputee? Shut the fuck up, Irv.
Yeah.
No one's asking.
You don't get to talk, fella.
It's a coffee guy bringing shit in. Like, how about that legless guy? How about that'll eat up some minutes. Yeah,
I think again, it's really, really influenced by the grit and the grime of like a Eli Roth movies. Also, the Rob Zombie stuff is clearly there. But it has this
difference.
weird like MTV Movie Awards thing to it also, which is fucking tough.
Everyone looks very good shape, very, film looking ready. I mean, there's just a difference between a 70s grit and anything made in the 2000s trying to look like a grit. Even if it's super filthy, dirty, and wet and slimy, it still looks cleaner.
Yeah.
Than anything done in the 70s.
So, here this has nothing to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm going to use this as an example. Like a movie like Green Room, which I will never stop singing the praises for. Every single character in Green Room, none of them look Hollywood handsome, beautiful. They have sunken in cheeks where you can see their cheekbones. They have kind of nasty teeth. They are skinny. Some of them are pudgy.
Imperfections.
Yeah. Even fucking Patrick Stewart doesn't look Hollywood ready in that movie. He's old. He's got like a shitty, ratty kind of a beard thing going on. Like that is real. When just
unlike
not everyone has a six pack and are fucking baby oiled up, man.
Unlike Diora Baird and Jordana Brewster, who were in a literal Jeep accident that rolled 3 or 4 times, and Jordana Brewster was thrown from the vehicle, and I put
safely landed.
Yeah, put some blood on the side of her face, and for being in a car wreck and being in a cannibal family and their teeth all knocked out and chained under a table, Diora Barrett still looks fantastic.
I call bullshit on that getting thrown from the vehicle thing, especially in a Jeep. I'm like, you're applesauce, lady.
Yeah, no, everyone inside that Jeep should look like dude from RoboCop.
Yeah, fucking Death Proof. They look like all the girls in the your face is peeled off. Like, come on, man, your leg gets ripped off. I don't know if you've ever seen footage or whatever of like
blood on the highway.
Yeah. Fucking is that a Simpsons reference?
I want to say that's when Beavis and Butthead took driver's ed.
Oh, yep,
Blood on the
there it
highway,
is.
or it was another one of those student films you watch.
Good old Blood on the Highway.
They are in a real. They smash into a cow at full speed, roll their Jeep, which has an open top on it. Like they have like the leather top to it, but no side doors, windows, none of that stuff. And all of them walk away from it. No real broken bones, like just some lacerations on the face and on the arms, but all shit. They're like superficial wounds.
So also, speaking of broken bones, and when I rewatched this, I watched this with the kids.
Because why not?
Yeah, I mean, you do. So we're watching it, and we're at the scene where Arlie Ermey tells the very handsome, blonde, cherub-looking.
I don't remember
sissy.
anybody's name. Like I just know
Dean.
the two guys, the two brothers are pretty much disposable to me.
Yeah. He tells him, if you can do 20 push-ups, I'll let you out of here. And then he proceeds to beat him with the nightstick. And I'm under the impression that he's breaking bones. He's literally breaking bones. He's hitting him in the knee. He's hitting him in the leg. He's hitting him in the back. I'm under the impression that no amount of rest is going to, like, my money says he ain't going nowhere. Like, no amount of rest is he's going to be like, shit, man, just needed a little nap and I'm good to run.
You're trying to justify it because this guy takes a hell of a long rest. Where definitely there was a point where I asked the wife, I was like, what happened to the blonde dude stuck in the bear trap outside? Has he been there all night, is leaning against the fence?
He's just sleeping. But yeah, so he takes this tremendous ass beating, and then, he can't even get himself up, like, from a push-up position anymore. I'm assuming broken forearms, broken back, broken fucking legs. And when his older brother breaks free and there's this moment of, we're gonna escape, he takes off running in a fucking dead sprint like there's not a bone broken in his body. And my son's like, good thing he forgot about his broken bones. And I just fucking started laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's true. He did forget about his broken bones and then steps in a bear trap. Like,
yeah, he was playing the long game of like, I'm gonna play hurt. I'm gonna sell my injuries so Arlie Ermey thinks I'm down for the count. And then I'm just gonna take this fastest kid alive shit on him. Like, that's what he's
selling.
He's trying some McLovin shit. Just take off running into the dark. Like, Arlie Ermey can't catch his ass.
I got fucking blood on my pants.
Yeah, which again, even like innermost beat up Jordana Brewster could just plow right through Arlie Ermey when he's blocking the door and she decides to take the TCM route of going through the window. I'm like, man, it's Arlie Ermey. Like, yeah, he's a Marine Corps guy and he's tough as nails, but I was like, he's an older man. Like, you're a 20s young person. Just run through him.
Yeah, blow through him. There's no stopping.
It's some Night of the Living Dead 1990 shit. I'm like, they're so slow. Like, just put a Heisman Trophy hand up and just go right through him. Just face palm him out of the way. He's just not that difficult.
Shake his fucking medication and throw it. Go get the stick, stupid.
Yeah, we see that with the younger brother when he finally does get a spot where he's beating up Arlie Ermey and just bashing his head into the porch steps. You got to answer why he lost his teeth. Remember in the 2003 one, he has no teeth. Yeah.
Oh, we got something else in common too. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, clearly we had to answer all the lingering questions from 03.
We can't just be like, he's old and that's why you don't have no teeth.
Dude's teeth and legs. We need to figure out where they disappeared to.
Yeah.
There's the tagline for this movie. Don't you want to know what happened to Arlie Ermey's teeth and the one other random dude's legs? We're gonna figure it out today.
You want to know my absolute favorite part of this movie, though?
Is it him burning his draft card in the back seat of the Jeep and then acting surprised when someone's like, "Is something burning behind me?"
No.
Fucking
my
idiots.
favorite part is when they use the heavyset lady as a barricade to the door.
I was laughing at that too. Like, wow, he pushed her pretty easily across that floor. Why is it so hard to push back?
Oh, my.
Yeah, as a battering ram to hold the barricade of the door closed.
So good. That's so stupid.
You know, you see, because she's fat. So because she's fat, she's super heavy. So Ermey can't open the door.
And she can't get up and get out of the way because
No,
she's fat.
No,
you know,
like and probably the direction was make stupid fat faces while you're wedged in with this table against the door. Like, ooh. Definitely talking about
all
chocolate.
they needed.
Gotta talk about
add
chocolate.
one little fart in there.
Oh yeah, right when they smashed table stomach to door.
Ooh, shouldn't have had all them cookies. Whatever.
Maybe
some dumb fat joke.
Maybe slip some fart out when they're talking about chocolate and just pan down to Diora Bear, just disgusted,
Gagging,
throwing up on the floor. Let's make it real, goddammit, make it real. Nobody vomits in this movie, and somebody should.
Yeah, no, there is no vomit. But remember 2 weeks ago I said, you know what this movie is missing, what the 03 version was missing, was a dinner scene. And I'm wrong, because this movie did not need it. It really did not need that dinner scene, man.
It wasn't even really a dinner, like the first dinner scene. I'll give it that, like when they made the stew out of the Lou Temple stew, the Lou stew.
Delicious.
Yeah, that was good. That had some good improvised Ermeyines of like, they may not remember what we say, but they sure as shit gonna remember what we do, and like, we are going to eat tonight. And then the second dinner is set up, and they put Diora Baird at the table, and then just decided to slit her throat at the table. We're like, what the fuck did you bother bringing her down for? If you're gonna do that, I was like, again, why don't just have Thomas Hewitt just take her to the basement, do it down there? Why are you fucking up the table upstairs with slitting her throat here for?
It's useless.
What's
man.
all that
it's
work for?
So shoehorned in, just so you can kind of wink at the audience and go, remember the dinner? You guys remember the dinner from '74.
And I've heard a million other podcasts say when that kind of thing is done, like, don't reference a movie that I'd rather be watching.
Yeah, exactly, because it does kind of pull you out of it. There isn't a lot of that in this movie. There isn't a lot of like winky wink callbacks, which is why I think 2 weeks ago I told you I like this movie, because it's not coming off of a source material. It's its own thing. And I like that. But upon rewatch, it's not like plagiarism. It's not like derivative of these torture porn movies, but it's such a product of that time, and it's so influenced by that. And that's where I think I have the problem, because I like this movie. I have fun with it. It's stupid. But man, I can't get over, like, I just think of all the people in the boardroom going, did you see that Hostel? Did you see that Rob Zombie thing that they,
It's 2005. Like, we got to really lean into what's hot in 05. Like, we are very, very over horny in 05. So, like, we need some low riding pants. We need the equivalent of a sex scene. So we need someone tied to a bed. We need Diora Baird in as little as humanly possible. They got to look good round the clock. Everyone's got to have that, like I said, 05 facial hair thing kind of going on. And things just look cleaner than they should. Nobody looks like this is the late 60s.
Yeah.
Go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood if you want to see something done in the modern age that looks more 60s than this ever has a hope of doing. But
I think, go ahead.
I was like, but I'm trying to think of positives I can spin on this, which, yeah, and I was like, I don't know if most TCMs are fun, but I was like, this needs to be more fun. But I was like, well, are a lot of them that kind of way? Like, no,
three is
about
our baby.
I was like, yeah, 3 is kind of it. I was like, 1 isn't really fun, but we have fun elements to it, and I really think Ermey's character is entirely like expanding on the look what your brother did to the door thing. So every line has to kind of fit that, like, just weird enough to sound funny and crazy at the same time. Yeah. Which, again, even though he's less than the previous movie, he's still our main star. So Even when even when we take another attempt at TCM where we're going to make Leatherface the star, we're going to see his birth, he is still second fiddle.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of touch on your saying how this isn't necessarily like a fun movie. It seems like they tried, right? Like they tried to make it fun, but at the same time,
in some spots, like us
with the biker gang thing, like it all feels very like
that. Genuinely did make me laugh was when Harley just rolls up and just blasts her with a shotgun. That did get a chuckle out of me, so I was like, that was funny. I like that.
Little Friday the 13th Part 3 action where, like bikers, it was scary. Like the girl in the back, she's like, oh, look, bikers, that's awesome. And then the two guys are like, don't look at them, There's an element of danger, that Easy Rider, that whole...
They roll up and just start busting up their car and kicking the shit out of it.
Which makes no sense.
No, I was like,
makes no sense,
why
but it's awesome,
why are they so angry?
Because they're bikers, man.
But then I don't understand.
Leather jackets.
But then I don't understand their goals either, because one biker, the lady biker, follows after the Jeep and has a double barrel short shotgun. She's going to...
Looks like one of the Nitro girls.
Yeah, and she's going to rob them, I guess. But yeah, she gets blasted by Ermey, who shows up, and then we see dude from Wayne's World biker later, and he's just rolling through town, and Jordana Brewster stops him and says, I need your help. They have one of your friends, which makes him stop, and so he knows who that is. He's not seen her all day now, so has no idea whether their plan or her plan succeeded in the robbing they were attempting to do. So, what's he doing? Is he just circling the town until he figures out what happened to her? Where's the rest of the gang at?
Yeah, I was going to say, and also he's alone, which makes no sense.
She's alone, then he's alone. Where are the other 12 to 15 bikers in this gang? Are they just happen to run into other bikers enjoying the sun that day, or what?
I don't know. But so here's the other thing about the biker gang, right? When you said their motives are a little muddy. So to me, my takeaway with the biker gang, or the biker culture, has always been they're not looking for trouble. They, especially Easy Rider in that era, they want to be accepted for who they are, the way they choose to live, the things that they believe in. And so they travel in this pack, and they don't like to be viewed as a freak show or as trouble. But these guys roll up and immediately start trouble. There's nothing. It's not like, the people in the Jeep are like, fucking scumbag, piece of shit, puke biker, fucks. There's not that
there's no looking down the bikers, no bikers going, you yuppie pricks.
Yeah, there's no reason for this conflict other than, shit, it's page 16 on the script, something's got to happen. It's very weird. It's a very weird way to distract them to hit a cow, I guess. That whole thing is just to distract them to hit a cow.
Man, they obliterate that cow too. that got a good chuckle out of me too. Yep, you're on point pretty well. Yeah. So that was a nice surprise. I just after this we got done watching it. I was like, well, one thing that I always will appreciate in any movie, no matter how shitty it is, if you throw a dummy off a roof, you have my applause. And apparently, if you run over any excessively large animal and just liquefy it on the road, I'm going to be a fan of that too, because even though we don't like animal killings in movies, if you just plow through a giant bull or a cow, whatever, at 70 miles an hour and just leave nothing but a vapor trail.
I think it's just cows in general. Because fuck them. In Me, Myself, and Irene, he chokes that fucking cow out and then shoots it in the face
the cow survives.
Hilarious. But if it was a dog, I'd be like, you put that fucking dog down.
See, I don't know. Planet Terror did that shit, and I'm totally fine when they ran over Rusty.
That was okay, because that was funny. That was a setup, and it was funny.
They're all funny.
But, so here's a little, I don't know, whatever I'm trying to say. Last night we were watching Ernest Goes to Jail because my son loves Ernest, but he could not remember that movie, and he remembered pieces. So we're watching it, and then there's the spot when the faux Ernest picks up Rimshot and throws him in the trash can, and everybody in the house was like, "Don't you hurt that fucking dog." They were all, you know what I mean? And then they're like, "Oh man, threw him in the trash can." Like, there's your, you know,
Nash threw away a perfectly good dog.
like really real prison.
I've been vandalized by Elvis.
Oh, such a good fucking movie. Bobby, burn him.
That'll be we'll make that a future retrospective series. Is this the Ernest Goes to places?
Sidebar, I just want to make some skits where you and I are dressed up like security guards and we are just terrible.
Sounds like the valets from Key and Peele.
That's it. I just want us to be security guards that just narrowly miss crimes or somehow accidentally aid in the crime happening.
Oh, so like the plot I wanted to do for my Nick Nolte, Gary Busey cop tag team.
Oh, you left your key card at home, huh? The guy's got like a ski mask on and a fucking power drill. Like, yeah, I'll let you in.
Like, hey guy, just to let you know, it's not that cold out. But you do you, man. Where are either one of those guys? Oh man, would I love to inject either Nolte or Busey into the Hewitt family.
Yes. Busey literally looks like he belongs.
I don't know if I'd buy him as the sheriff. Maybe if we didn't have fuck it, put him as the legless guy. Like, give him a wheelchair. Give him the silver bullet wheelchair he made.
Just let him work at the gas station. You know, just get him in there with a big meat cleaver chopping fucking ribs, all stupid like.
Hey, Thomas, we closed down, man. It's condemned. Apparently, dumpster babies is a no-no to the FTC.
All bullshit aside, though, man. Like, all, like, really, really ripping on this movie. It's decent. It's just, I don't know. It's just, we just keep getting further and further removed from that source material. And at a certain point, it feels like, an imitation of that, source material, where it's like, remember this? We'll try and make it seem like this, but we're not necessarily influenced by this. We're influenced by other things. So it starts to feel like super, super derivative. I don't know how to... It's odd feeling I get with this movie.
I will give it this. For being a Texas Chainsaw movie, it actually has a decent amount of chainsaw-related murders, which is something that doesn't happen at all in Next Generation. Like, this is the Texas Massacre. No chainsaw required. It's just a prop in that one. This is actually utilizes the chainsaw, which I don't know why it's just sitting in that office. He slings that sledgehammer at that dude's face, which he should be straight up Michael Rooker caved in face.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that chainsaw is just sitting in an office and just picks it up, and that's how he decides to start using the chainsaw, which is like, okay, convenient, I guess. It's the equivalent of Jason finding his hockey mask in that the weed
barn.
That weed barn.
Also fucking Platinum Dunes. Also Platinum Dunes.
All trying to replicate the success here. I don't know why we didn't go with Jason Origins route, which I guess we're finally getting at some point on a streaming service as a series, but I'll give it that. Like, we actually have some chainsaw kills, and they look
biker
pretty...
gets fucked up, yeah.
The biker gets pretty well fucked up. Dude who... I can't feel my arm. Our pretty boy gets right through the chest, which I like that it's so loud. Leatherface doesn't hear Jordana Brewster screaming underneath him. She's definitely... traumatized. I mean, she should be more traumatized. Like, Diora Baird looks like how Jordana Brewster should look.
Yeah, I mean, when she... Which you shouldn't look, when she comes out from under the table and then she takes that look at her boyfriend.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid. But speaking of that...
Looks like a one-armed Skeletor on the table.
I am not alive.
Well built and ripped, but he has a skeleton face.
So that's the other aspect, which we talk about in all the other films. So we went from his COVID mask to now he has the boyfriend's face. And it doesn't look great to me either.
But
it's weird. It almost looks feminine. It's got kind of a feminine look.
A little bit, but I do think it looks better than the movie previously. Mm-hmm. And definitely next gen.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
I would put it behind the original part 3 than this. So I would put it would get the bronze medal for mask. It doesn't look bad. My only thing, if I had to critique it was like, well, he made that pretty fucking quick as far as like the stitching and shit. Like it seems like 12 seconds between when he slices it off to he's already strapping it onto his noggin. So
yeah,
like, man, he wired that up real fucking fast.
I like your new face.
But yeah, I was like, it feels more crude. Mm-hmm. Not quite as Hollywood.
I think my issue might be the hair or something. There's some weird thing about the way that face looks that kind of throws me off. Again, like I said, kind of feels feminine, but also I think it's because Andrew Bynarski has a fucking gigundous melon on top of his neck, so the mask itself, the skin that's over his face, seems like more skin than what was on that scrawny, handsome guy's face. You know, I mean, he's a skinny dude.
Yeah.
Super fit, and
should be like Chris
Bynarski's
Farley.
Head.
Should be like Chris Farley trying to put on David Spade's coat.
Yeah, that's like the seams would be fucking tearing. Like,
okay. Then question for you as related to that. If you were to go back to the previous movies, do you think is that the same formula? Is this all one guy's or one person's face? Because I always just, in my head, assumed he just...
Patchwork?
Yeah, he patchworked the whole thing together. Like that could be like 17 people on him face. As opposed to whenever they decided in the remake, or this movie, I guess, they just decided to go, what if he just does one person face? Yeah, he does it in the movie previously. Like, just cut off one dude's face, and that's just, you're gonna be that person.
Until it rots, yeah.
I kind of like him doing the, like, weathering it, like, getting it ready, and then stitch working it all together to make a face, and then designing that face like Pretty Lady is pretty much a face, but I still feel like it's parts. Right,
so they do that in 2. And 2 is like our least favorite mask, but like it's got a fucking ear, it's got like patches of black skin, different skin pigments and pieces, and it looks like a quilt, like a really cheap Spirit Halloween quilt. So you run the risk of it being super hokey. I guess, and I didn't think of that until just now, my issue with him making this mask immediately and putting it on, whereas the mask in like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre looks dried out. It looks
brittle.
Yeah, it looks like it's had time to cure and stuff. And I just was thinking, okay, take a piece of bologna and try and fucking sew it to another piece of bologna. And then let that piece of bologna that's sewed to the other piece of bologna hang under its weight and see if it doesn't just tear and fall. Because I'm assuming I've never peeled off someone's fucking face, so I can't speak to that. But I would assume, because it's not like it's thick, it's not like it's down into the muscle and, got some grit. It's just skin.
Yeah,
so I would assume surface. It would tear unless you put it under a fucking heat lamp and you dry it and it starts to kind of like curl and get like the hard edges and brown and nasty. But again, I'm not a fucking serial killer. I've never made a mask out of a person's face, but
I feel like,
to me, it just feels like it would drip right off. Like,
but by golly, is that a wonderful idea you just given me for a future live stream? Is like, let's go to the store, get some turkey, bologna, ham. I'm like, all right, we have 2 hours. Let's see if we can make our own Leatherface mask out of lunch meat.
Fucking, yeah, like a goddamn preschool art project.
100%. I would love to see how all of us like throw Remix in there, throw anyone else who wants to join us. Like, all right, we're gonna make your own Leatherface mask out of real meat at home. And then,
My dog will be in heaven because he'll be eating everything that hits the floor and everything will. I'm fucking 100% down with this idea, just so you know. I'm gonna go get thin sliced honey ham.
As am I. I was like, oh, what's your sticker? I was like, oh, we usually get the honey roasted, but nah, we just get the thicker cut here. That's just the cured.
So then we gotta wear it, and then we gotta take it off, and we gotta eat it.
Yeah, it's gotta survive the test of like you have to construct it so it looks like a mask. So you have to have at least a mouth and eye holes, and then you have to
nose holes. Yeah,
you have to adhere it to your head, and it has to stay on your face for at least like 2 minutes. Like you doing
move your head around.
Yes, left to right, up and down. Like it's gotta maintain for at least 120 seconds.
Leatherface arts and crafts. Yeah. I can't wait to tell Remix about this. He's gonna have a fucking heyday. I'll go spend $40 on ham and fucking sewing needles.
I 100% cannot tell the wife any of this because she's like, you spent how much? You're just wasting all this lunch meat?
Like, this is the dumbest idea. You shut your mouth. All 7 of our viewers
are
dying to know.
They will donate dollars to see us do this. At least $3.
YouTube will take 30% of it.
So I will make 99 cents off of clearly what's going to be $20-something or more of lunch meat that I could have eaten on sandwiches and survived on for a couple of days, but I made a mask out of it that'll live forever on the YouTubes.
I think this might be a better in-person video where we can edit it and do some really cool B-roll shots and put some cool music in there. Oh yeah, I think we've no one steal our fucking idea. I'll kill you all. But
we might have already done it by the time this actually hits the airwaves.
It's true. So next visit, whenever that is, I will make sure that
we have a lunch meat budget.
Yeah, whether you're here or I'm there, I'll make sure we have a good camera, good sound, lighting. We'll make it happen. But is there anything else you want to touch on this movie before we move on to our next segments? I'm trying to think if I didn't speak on it. I do have one more thing. My bad.
Okay, go for it. You yours, then I'll do mine.
So here's my other that just popped in my head. We were talking about the Rob Zombie era and that Hostel era. We do have a moment super early in the movie with the when Leatherface decides to kill the guy who runs the shop owner or the slaughterhouse.
The head guy at Lee's Slaughter, which I love. It's like a sitcom. We keep going back to this like shot of the slaughterhouse, like the building. Like it looks like a straight sitcom. Like we're gonna dissolve into what's going on inside.
Yeah, but he has one of those lines like the "I was good to you, Mikey" type of line, and that's so fucking Rob Zombie, and it just popped in my head where I'm like, yeah, that's clearly influenced by the Danny Trejo scene,
which the wife was super critiquing. She'd been like, all these guys are dicks with how they're like. I would have totally done a way better job of firing Leatherface from this job and like just go up to him and like, I know this is everything to you. It is to me too, but they're telling us we have to go. I have to go. You have to go. I'm sorry we have to do this, but we all have to leave.
Yeah, come to the tavern with us. I'll buy you a beer.
Or pour
it in your nose hole.
Or call him a dumb retard like the first guy does, who lives, by the way. Mm-hmm. The one that just instructed him to tell him to fire him is the one that gets sledgehammered to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Logic.
Yeah, like you do. But again, yeah, a character that's sympathetic and nice. Pleading for their life. I was your friend.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Smash,
I hired you for reasons. I know you were born here. Weren't you born here? You look like you were born here.
We go way back.
Yeah. I threw you in the dumpster. I dusted
the maggots off of you. I dusted the maggots off you in the dumpster.
I cleaned you off before I threw you out in the trash with the scraps.
Wrapped in fucking...
butcher paper.
Yeah, butcher paper.
They love using the butcher paper. All right.
And that twine, yeah.
Yeah. So my two questions then for you is, one, where do you go from here?
Well,
what's the next step?
Yeah, that's where they shot themselves in the foot because they're like, we can only prequel once.
Yeah,
right?
we can't go further back.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
We're gonna see.
Back.
We're gonna the next movie's gonna be how Leatherface's mama got knocked up. Who is Leatherface's daddy?
We're going back to the Wild West, like fucking Back to the Future 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have nowhere to go. You painted yourself into a corner.
That's when the cannibalism started.
Unless you want to be like, all right, Robo-Arm Leatherface, which the world wasn't ready for that. We're still not ready for that. Don't ever do that.
I feel like we could have been in 94. Like, if this had come out in the mid-90s, I feel like we would have been like, yeah, he's got a robot arm now.
What about Space Chainsaw Massacre?
You know, I think once Grindhouse kind of hit mainstream and we got Machete and Machete Kills, I think that would have been a good time to strike with that. It would have been accepted then. We were just getting into, like, overly goofy is acceptable if they played it straight enough. Then they went overboard with it, and that's how we end up with shit like Sharknado.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't take Texas to space, so...
They don't believe in that kind of thing.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, I was going to say something like Escape from New York or Escape from L.A., where, like, Texas becomes a prison.
Oh, all right, yeah, now that's a better idea. So my other question then is, since I don't think we've ever individually or as a collective decided to re-go through this franchise top to bottom before. Like, we just kind of pick and choose spots out of it. Unlike the other ones where we will kind of go through Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. We'll go through kind of the series and how one can lead to another one, kind of a deal. Is this does this movie officially take the reins as far as being the most unconnected series out there? And does it put Halloween to shame with its multiple timelines? Because you can get 2 or 3 different timelines off it, and people talk about that series all over the place. I'm realizing, at least I think now, that TCM will never be duplicated as far as its unconnectivity to the previous or the next.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. People who complain about the Halloween franchise, this franchise literally is, saying, hold my beer.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Hold my barbecue sauce, because guess what? None of these movies connect in any way, shape, or form. They're fucking all over the place.
This is the best we got, and the best they could do for connective tissue is to go prequel.
Yeah, and, I feel like a casual watcher who doesn't try to connect them can just, ignorance is bliss, right? Like, well, it's Leatherface, he's in Texas. Yeah, it's just like that one, but not, or whatever. Like, they can just
if people
assume
die,
it's just...
If people die, it takes place in Texas, and there's a chainsaw somewhere on screen, it qualifies.
Yeah, because, you can just ignorantly watch it with no prior knowledge and just assume that it's all part of the same soup, Sort of like... AMC, like every Halloween, they do their Fright Fest or Fear Fest or whatever it's called, and they'll play like all the Halloween movies. I can remember when I was working construction, my boss, who was not a horror movie fan at all, but it was Halloween night, and we had all of our kids, and so Halloween 4 was on, and his wife was like, turn this off or whatever, and he's like, no, I want to watch this. And then so he starts asking me questions, so who's this girl and this, so I'm like, so this movie and the next movie are only tied to this movie. And then, like, I'm trying to break it down, and he looked so confused. After like 5 minutes of me talking, he did just shut it off and go do what his wife wanted. Because he's like, I don't, I'm like, it's way more complicated than just like a dude in a white mask.
The whole series.
Yeah. Just way more complicated than a dude in a white mask stabbing people.
Yeah,
like, it has all these weird... connections.
Heaven help you have somebody new into the horror world and they want to watch something Texas Chainsaw, like, oh, I want to get into that series. What happens in that series? I think that's also very much, it falls into this, again, old man talk, this day and age of binging. Like, oh, we'll burn through this whole series. How little things will tie into things way later. None of this, throw all that shit out the window when it comes to this. Just sit back and go, it's in Texas. there's a chainsaw somewhere in here, and more than one person dies, so it's qualified as a massacre. That's it.
Yeah, this is pre streaming binging, so things don't have a lot of that connective tissue.
But I mean, just as far as any other series goes, like nothing is like this. Which is
I would also so Halloween's up there, but not as bad as this. But I would say Hellraiser also is kind of
Hellraiser. But I feel I can totally explain Hellraiser's. Like, there's the first movie that made a sequel that was direct. The third one's the popcorn movie, and after that, it's spec scripts. Plus,
and it's basically just
plus Cenobites.
Wherever the lament configuration ends up, so it doesn't have to necessarily tie to the previous film. But I would just say that a lot of the stuff we grew up with got sequels out of necessity for box office. Like, this one did better than we thought, so new movie. And
I still feel they're like that. Pretty much confines them to doing that, but just they're really, I think, because of fan access to being able to voice their opinions, it's modified to like, well, things need to start making sense now. Like we said, Freddy vs. Jason was the last movie in the era of you will give what the fuck we take. You will take what we give you, and you'll like it. After that,
what's the worst you can do is write into Fangoria like 2 months later and have your...
Oh, they send me a letter. You can just throw that in the trash. No one else will see it. Only the person writing it and the person receiving it knows about it. Now you can post whatever you want, and it can be seen by hundreds of thousands of people. So you don't like Sonic the Hedgehog's eyes? We can change that shit by just
We're going to start a petition.
Yeah, you can do all that just by voicing your opinion on the interwebs now and get things changed. So I guess in the positive, we won't have that happen anymore, but I guess it will also put a constraint on probably the length it takes for the next movie to come out, because like, well, how are we going to build off of that? Although I don't know, Texas might be the wild card series, and this goes, fuck it, we're never going to make any sense from movie to movie.
We're throwing logic out the window like we throw babies born in the slaughterhouse into the dumpster.
But we'll keep the trend going of what's trendy in the times, and we'll get to that when we get to probably around the end of this series. Going, this feels a lot like something else. So, like, that felt a lot like, man, I feel like we're doing some Halloween 2018 kill shit. And like, then as to right now, we're like, no, this definitely fits into the Eli Roth torture porn dirty side of cinema in the early aughts.
Although I'll say this, Eli Roth can fucking write dialogue, and everybody seems pretty real to me. This, not so much, but whatever.
I mean, the dialogue in this ain't bad. I can get it. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't stick with me. But I just because I don't remember anybody's name doesn't necessarily mean anything. I got, even just after only 3 watchings in over a decade, like, oh yeah, it's 2 brothers. One wants to go to Nam. One is telling his brother he wants to go with him to Nam. He doesn't really want to go to Nam. They're both going to die. Oh yeah, it's a prequel. Toast. They're all going to die.
Now that we're done, we tried to be positive, but and again, I offer a disclaimer, like, our word is not bond.
If you like it, good. I definitely... Yeah. Like I've said before, I like hearing all kinds of opinions on different things. Like, you like this? Tell me why. I'll tell you mine. You tell me yours. I'm not going to think you're stupid for it.
Yeah,
everyone likes their thing. People think we're stupid for the ones we like. So we're like, yeah, we like this one. No one else likes it. We like it. Fuck it.
Yeah, and also I'll say this: I do like this movie. I watch it not overly regularly, but probably like once every 6 months. I get in that cycle of each villain, each major slasher villain, and so I'll kind of bounce around through the franchises, and I give this one its fair due.
Okay, so if you had to delete one from like that, keep one, delete one from history, this or the remake, do you want to keep the origins or the remake? You have to delete the other one from ever happening. Which one would you want to keep?
I'd keep the remake, and I would get rid of this one. But I do like this one, man. It's fine. It's stupid. It's just stupid, and it's a really easy hour, 30 minutes, or however long it is. It's very fast-paced. Doesn't ever really seem to drag to me. It's a decent popcorn movie, but it's not as fun of a popcorn movie as we would like. But yeah, I know.
That's the best thing. It's like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just fine.
Which I don't know if that's the best or worst way to put it, but that's not how we're going to do things now. It's time to figure out what some people think that we're definitely leaning towards one side over the other. It's time for them 1-star reviews from the Amazons.
Hated it.
All right, we have the Pretty Kid, or the Petty Kid. I want to call him the Pretty Kid. The Petty Kid with 2 Ds. April 28, 2021. I'm really all over the place. 1 star, the Texas Scratched Up Massacre, the new Scratch. The beginning scratched up, all until the scene where he gets the new face. From that point on, it plays good.
Oh, I thought he was talking about like the film grain overlays.
No.
Nope, he's just talking about his disc being a piece of shit. Well, buff that shit out, homie.
Something else we've encountered in the past is from Eric McKenzie, May 12th, 2020, 1 star, Chainsaw. I'm sick and tired of Amazon selling movies that don't play in this region. I suggest for everyone to think before buying movies on this stupid site. But while you're on this stupid site, check the 1-star reviews.
Oh, god damn it. Just pay attention to the region. It's literally in the info.
A quick life hack. If you're looking for a movie that is becoming harder to find, if you find it on Amazon and it has really amazing artwork, probably region locked.
Yeah. That's usually how it works. It's like a German media book, and you're like,
ooh, that looks super nice. $17. Where do I sign? Oh, not in the United States. That's for goddamn sure.
It's gonna take 6 months to get here too.
Yeah, unless it's rated by bandits, pirates.
Oh, we have our own story about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a month or so, a couple months. All right, Emily, November 15, 2019, 1 star, awful. Paul Knowles, January 17, 2016. 1 star, cheap, disgusting, and unentertaining. This film is trashy, cheap, disgusting, and unentertaining. However, it does better as a standalone compared to the 03 remake.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't need to see him be born and then go through all that bullshit.
Would you want to see any other slasher icons be born? You want to see Freddy born? I mean, we see him conceived and pretty much born in 5.
Yeah.
Would you want to see it done in the real time, just a movie on the conception?
I don't know that you need that. I think it's fine. The franchise did what it had to do in certain spots, with Freddy's Dead giving us just minuscule glimpses into his problems. I don't know that I need a full movie of him at daycare being the weird kid or whatever.
Smashing
I don't
hamsters and sending out 100 cards on Father's Day.
God damn it. my tongue is dry.
Oh, he died from licking toxic stamps. Censora, December 28, 2021, 1 star, crazy sad movie. I did not like, kill, or torture, but stuff happened where life.
Whoa.
That sounds like Charlie from It's Always Sunny wrote this review. I did not like, kill, or torture, but stuff happened where life.
Definitely translated to English. That is...
No, that is reviewed in the United States.
Holy moly.
That is a local boy. Or, I don't know, Censora.
Last name Hewitt.
Possibly. Savannah Bentley, June 3rd, 2015, 1 star. No.
That's it.
No.
It's just fucking
no.
Kurt Russell from Tombstone walking across the creek. No!
JJ Baggs, October 24th, 07, 1 star. Trash the Trash. the cinematic equivalent of paying good money to sit in a landfill on a hot summer afternoon.
I like that.
Incredibly repellent violence with absolutely no message except that there are millions of suckers like me who gets his curiosity aroused at times and buys a matinee special. My arousal, in quotes, lasted exactly 10 minutes. A suspicious duet in the cinema started staring in all directions with eyes blazing and gazing. So I decided to, a lot of shit is in quotes, I decided to blow town, if not my lunch. This is easily a worse movie than A Clockwork Orange, something I thought I'd never be able to say. Don't be content to merely avoid this abomination. Urge a boycott.
Wow. Dang, all right.
Him just putting a lot of shit in quotes just kept fucking with me. So JJ Baggs, you're a strange one, Mr. Grinch.
Special.
And to end up at the bottom of the barrel of the 1 stars, J.R. Gonzalez, October 7th, 2006, 1 star, an unimportant remake. All in caps, by the way. Somehow you just seem to get lost in it all with the same old story, just like the original. Too bitter and sort out of distant from 2003's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes a prequel that never lets out a gasp horror and bores us with something we already saw 30 years ago.
Oh, tell us how you really feel, homie.
He is bored, lost, and doesn't feel a prequel is necessary.
All right, well.
I said it a lot shorter than that and in a very calm and collected voice. But anytime things are all in caps, I'm like, oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, that's a dude just fucking pounding the keyboard,
but
thinking he's writing the next great review.
Yeah. Which also is the big deterrent I've found on this movie, again, in particular, is it's either one of two big reviews that kept popping up as people bitching about either the quality of their discs or it is a novel of a review, which I don't even realize. Like, if I gotta hit see more and I'm just scrolling, like, who is reading that shit? I should start looking to see if anyone ever finds it helpful. I wish they had an unhelpful check mark there, you know. Like your comment section, like, your review is too goddamn long.
That meme of the cost of this is too damn high.
I could probably watch the movie and be done with it before I finish reading your review of the movie.
Yeah, your thesis on whatever.
That is
60s horror.
That who does that? That is not someone anyone gets. There's no monetization at all in that, is there? Like, is there any monetization you can get for reviewing shit?
I don't think so. I mean, fucking stranger things have happened. You know, there's probably a job out there that entails that, but it's odd. Maybe there is like a minimum requirement for your reviews, like it has to be 1,000 words or whatever. So you're like,
that's a personal goal. That is not required by any of the reviews on Amazon at all. Give me a paragraph at best. At best. Maybe 2 if you're really
no
funny. No
periods, no capital letters.
Just run
it all together.
Yeah, maybe break up by having one word on one line and then just hit enter and go to the next line, because just it'll fuck up the flow of trying to read it.
I'm going to just put a bunch of commas. That's usually what I do. Like some dots.
Yeah, tons of shit in exclamation points. Like, I blew lunch. You sound like Chris Farley on the SNL thing where he's like, I don't fall in line, I don't use a toothbrush or wipe properly, I sweat profusely. I'm writing my Amazon reviews for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, quote unquote, the beginning of the end.
Yeah, well, this literally is the beginning of the end, because it killed the franchise for a hot minute.
Yeah, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, we had to figure out how to come back. So
they wrapped up and they're like, what do we do next? And like, shit.
I don't know.
We gotta go back to the one-armed man or something else.
Call up that Daddario or whatever her fucking name is.
Yeah.
See if she'll.
Like, you know that last movie had some wonderful breasts in it. We need someone just the same equivalent. What can we find? Who's available? When we bring Diora Baird back, she still looks phenomenal. She does still look phenomenal.
We're going to get Daddario.
Alexandra Daddario.
Sounds like I have a stutter. Daddario. But
sounds like an exotic like perfume cologne brand. Like Daddario.
Yeah.
Daddario.
Black and white commercial.
Yeah.
Like fucking silk flapping
Random
in the wind.
words like breath.
Exquisite.
Silky.
Smooth.
Linoleum. Daddario.
Buy now.
Whispers.
Yeah, that's how you sell perfume.
With
I don't
tits.
know. But now that we're done with our Daddario perfume ad, Evil, what does that mean?
It's time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game!
It's all about the game and how you play it. Damn, I just killed the entire police department.
Wonder what that felt like. Oh boy,
What an idiot. I'm
I'm a cop now.
gonna load you into my cop car with the shotgun handy. Like, now you wait here while I apprehend your son, nephew. By the way, I'm definitely calling him a retard before I go to apprehend him, just so we're both on the same page of we're cool, right?
You gotta do it. Now, I don't mind saying, you raised that boy right. We ain't having this conversation.
Make sure, definitely make sure this gun is here and the door is unlocked before I get out and go talk to him. And I'll just rest assured, I am moving in 1 week, so no one will ask where I am after 7 days from now. Not even that other deputy that works with me that I never see, that never have bothered asking what happened to me during the last week I was supposed to be here. But I'll be right back. You don't grab that shotgun now.
Wish there was like moving boxes in the back of the fucking cop car. That would have been hammered that home a little bit more.
He was just like one line away from living up that, he's just 3 days away from retirement. His daughter's graduating from college. He just bought his boat, live forever.
Oh, shit. But that's right. It is time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself where you got to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. So since we're covering Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and say you can't have the chainsaw, you can't have the half mask, and you can't have the new mask, because those are all low-hanging fruit. So pick something odd, weird, quirky, strange, a little bit odd, isn't it? And let us know in the comments on this podcast. Let us know on Patreon, Discord, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you find us, because we're there. And we want to know what you picked. Yeah, Evil. I'm going to let you go first, because I already think I called it, but
Yeah.
Why not?
Exploding cow.
Pre or post?
Wow. I would love to have a full cow that I could piece back together and then
It's got,
pull
like,
it
flaps
apart.
in case.
Yeah, like it fits together like a puzzle. And I could put like an air cannon and just blow it up. with
Hose?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
like a hose?
I can fill it up with a blood bag and just blow it up on the side of the street at any given moment. Like, it looks like a cow, but like anytime I can just press a button and just.
I would assume that it was able to be reassembled, because who knows if they would be able to get it in one take. So that's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I want the the exploded cow that you could reassemble and explode again.
I think it's time to go back to some prop auctions and see if we can find that bad boy.
Which is weird. I've seen 2 exploding animals within like a 2-day period, or no, just a day period. Because literally the same night, like that same night I watched Saisu, because you hooked me up with the digital code for that, and there's an exploding horse in there. So I was like, man, 2 giant exploding animals in the same day. What are the odds?
Sidebar, before I pick my prop. What'd you think of Sisu?
I had a blast with Sisu.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Not practical or realistic in any way, shape, or form, but
Oh.
fuck me, is that not the most fun ever?
It was like almost 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, and I was laughing very obnoxiously loud when he is underwater And just trying to
Yeah.
get the Nazis' perspective, like we sent a guy down underwater to get him. He has no equipment down there. He's just sitting underwater, and all we see is blood bubbles shoot up. Like, send another guy down, more blood bubbles shoot up. A plane has been wrecked in our truck's path, way down the road. Like, this is the rope we hung him with. This man is immortal. And no lines.
fucking good.
No lines until we get to the very end where he's just bitching about he's tired of carrying around this gold being so damn heavy. Give me large bills. This shit's heavy.
Yeah, dude.
That was fun.
incredible.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna love it. I was like, it's like John Wick, but like cranked up to 1 billion and made by a bunch of foreigners.
That's the style now. I've heard it said before, and I agree with it. Keanu Reeves can just rebuild the action movie formula every so many years. He made The Matrix. Then for the next decade, we saw Matrix fight-style ripoffs endlessly. And then he did John Wick. And now we're like with this. Nobody. All these movies now are like, let's just make a one-man army that is just indestructible and knows how to do 101 things. Like, he killed 3 of our men. What should we do? The commanding officer said, we are damn lucky. Turn around and leave.
Yeah, we're not leaving.
And I literally had a moment where I was like, man, I wish one of these Nazis would have that machete moment where the one bodyguard in machete was like, I quit. Like, I just walk away and quit. And literally, as I got done saying that, the dudes roll up on the motorcycle with 2 guns drawn on them, and they're like, I give up. This ain't worth it.
Yeah, I'm out of here, dude.
He's
Yeah.
2 guns trained on a guy. He's literally just he's an old prospector with a pickaxe, and they're like, I am not fucking with this. We've seen this immortal ghost man do his thing. I ain't fucking with it. Nope.
So good. I just wish, like, I like the guy, but I'm like, all I can see is Stephen Lang. I'm like, man, put Stephen Lang in that role.
I kind of can see that too. It's the facial hair, the same kind of age bracket. Like, yeah, it totally comes off as him.
Watch this movie get remade in America and just not be as awesome, because boy, that was awesome.
I feel like it'd be the equivalent of the Raid Redemption to Dread. Like, both good, but definitely you can tell which one is local, which one ain't. But not bad. I like both Dread and Raid Redemption, but 2 very different but very similar.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
So what are you
Raid
taking?
Redemption is getting an American remake, which
I don't know
not
about
super
that.
cool about that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Remember when they remade Old Boy? Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I'm just
but,
exhausted watching Raid Redemption. I feel as tired as Dude does in that movie, fighting all those fucking people.
It's, yeah. Or that samurai movie. Like, watch them remake that in America.
400 versus 1. The one-take movie.
That's madness.
Indeed. Speaking of madness, what in the world are you taking from this movie?
I'm gonna take the fucking weird mutant baby prop.
As he's saying this, folks, he is shaking his head in a no fashion, so I don't think he's happy to take anything from this movie.
Well, you know,
Dior Baird's
goes
undergarments.
goes back to Tapehead. When we wanted to have the birthing scene, I was looking for baby props, and the one that I purchased was like a fetus, like a baby fetus. And then way later down the road, I found full-size silicone baby props. And I've always been like, man, if I would have had a full-size baby prop, that would have been so fucking cool. So I guess that weird, creepy baby that becomes Thomas Hewitt could have just as easily become Jacob Cobb. So
Could. Or I'll take one half of Dior Baird's undergarments. You can have the other one.
I want the heavyset lady's sundress, so I can
use it as a tarp to cover up your tent when you're selling your movies at events.
make a circus tent. Yeah, it's a circus tent.
Because she's fat.
That's
you see,
rude.
it's hilarious.
It's fat. You get it? It's mean.
We're definitely no
Hilarious.
better than the people who made the movie at this point.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet for me is the baby, or the other thing would maybe be Homeboy's severed legs.
Sour Legs, the semi-burned draft card.
That's not bad.
The gun that's picked up that we'd never have any use for later. Like she's trying to get this gun that's turned over in the Jeep accident. Legless dude eventually picks it up, and then we never hear from that gun again.
That's not how you do Chekhov's gun.
No,
for anyone who wants to make a movie.
Well, did you also think when the biker shows up at the house and he's just got a 6-shooter, I'm like, that's not enough.
Yeah, not enough bullets, homie.
I felt kind of like Pulp Fiction, like, we don't know how many people's in there. We need shotguns for something like this.
Shotguns for this shit. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, not enough. But maybe he was thinking his bikerness alone was enough to beat him. Like Damon Wayans says in Great White Hype, my blackness alone will beat this kid.
That was another line that got a good chuckle out of me when he's like, where's the girl? And he shows it to Dior Bear, and he's like, not that one.
Oh, you don't want to see the other one.
He's like, oh, shit. That was good. I did like that.
So there's your rainbow at the end of the thunderstorm, folks. There's a couple of funny things in this movie, and it's worth watching just to enjoy and poke fun at, just like we did. But I suppose, on that note, we should probably get going, because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there, and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
No talking until I said grace, asshole.